Yep, whenever you're ready.
Just waiting for it to hit 6.
Do you want a motion to move 10A to 2B?
I usually don't make a motion, just bring it up.
Okay. Is there a copy? I didn't even.
I think so.
I put it in the, so I don't know.
It's O'Connor's corner.
I'm not sure if it
I don't
made it.
remember seeing it, actually.
I don't know that,
It's in Will's mailbox, I think,
Oh.
so I'm not sure.
no, but you guys can approve it and somebody,
Maybe we make a motion.
well, Will can sign it.
Have Will sign it, or you or Will, or
Yeah.
whatever.
All right, you ready, Tina?
Yep, go ahead.
Good? All right, I'd like to call the Select Board meeting of Monday, March 17th to order. Item 2 is additions or deletions to the agenda.
I move to add to the agenda under roads and bridges, consideration of an access permit regarding Middletown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also recommend moving item 10A up to additions or deletions to the agenda.
No, you want to move it up under after 4?
Oh, I thought you said
No, I said just mention moving it.
mention. Oh, okay. So, as part of 4B?
Sure.
10A moves to 4B.
Works for me. All right, item 3, executive session. Executive session for the purpose of duties and procedures of the town, 1 VSA 313.
I move to enter executive session for the purpose of duties and procedures of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep, I'm going down.
We learned this the hard way.
management of information in the public sphere. And subject D was meeting management. And these are some goals that we're looking to move forward with as a town, and that is to represent every perspective, foster unity, drive towards solutions for town issues, provide support and outreach to town committees, renew the value of service, acknowledge differences, have select board, committees, commissions, and the public behave with respect towards each other, encourage a civilized process when conducting town business, seek trust and transparency in transactions, enhance communication among and between town bodies, enhance public access to town information through an updated town website. Select board delegates to committees, commissions who are accountable for completing assigned tasks, and the select board holds ultimate responsibility for the committee's work. The charge to committees and commissions to be spelled out in a committee charge document. Select board chair, management of meetings. We have build the agenda, manage the meeting and its participants, the select board members and the public. Ensure every voice is heard. Recognize that select board members have an equal voice. Action number 3 is action steps for a select board relative to objectives and goals above. And that is 3A, monthly representation from committee and commissions to the select board. B, hold committee and commissions responsible for open meeting laws, meeting minutes, meeting places, and committee commission formulation documents to state expected scope of work and outcome. And that's to summarize the document that we came up with. Anybody like to start with their comments?
Go ahead.
All right. So basically, at the end of this, I found as a board, we need to do better representing and becoming accountable for ourselves to be able to lead and show accountability with the public and committees. So we are going to be working harder on holding each other accountable, communicating with each other, and definitely speaking up and voicing our opinions, because I know sometimes it seems like we're silent. So that's something we need to do better of. And we're also going to be expecting the same from committees. That's why we said going forward we're going to have monthly reports to show information more to the public. And on the town website, I believe we're going to be having little sections where you can subscribe to each committee to open up more information to the public. And that's my general first statement. You guys have anything else?
I agree with a lot of the same points that I think this process has caused the board to think about, a little bit maybe broader look at what the town as a whole is doing and the way that information passes from committees to back to us and how that process could be improved. I think it kind of exposed a need for us to support each other as select board members and acknowledge differences and respectfully have our own positions that represent the people that we feel we represent throughout the community. And I think the differences are the good balance of representation that is needed in a fair process. So I think acknowledging and combining all of those things is going to make everything more effective over time and hopefully run the way that the process should.
I would thank both the public for being willing to share their thoughts about what was working well and what wasn't working well for them on commissions. I appreciate the time that it took for people to do that and the honesty. I appreciate the honesty among us to listen to some of those conversations and comments and to take them seriously, and to begin to identify very specific things we want to do better and how, in fact, to achieve that. We talked about being more transparent and being willing to listen to what people have to say. I mean, we're here as your representatives, so we need to understand what's important to you. And we want you to see how we are making decisions based on information we're getting from you. We also want to hold each other, as we say, sort of within our boards, but across board boundaries in terms of just appropriate civility and professionalism and the like in terms of how we work together. And I think this has been a good moment to sort of remind ourselves about those important aspects of working in a public body. So I appreciate that we've come to this point where we can talk about it and move forward. And I would also say that the sort of action steps going forward, if anybody in the public has any other ideas about what we can do better, how we can service you in terms of the work that we're doing for our town, please let us know. This list is not, static. It needs to be constantly tweaked and dynamic and reflective of what's happening in our town at any one time. So whatever we can do with your suggestions to make those improvements and things that we can add to our list of things that we're going to work on, let us know.
I have a question. Was there any common theme at all?
It was really the four that we identified that James was recommending. So it was meeting management, just sort of managing information in the public sphere, relationship between the select board and the various committees and commissions, and then just a reflection on how we thought the actions up to this point where we became introspective might have affected the town. What was the tone in the town because of these challenges we've had in the last 10 months or so.
And I would add to that, like I said, the accountability, the unity, and the communication were all drawn out of that as well.
Yep.
Those are the three things we have to really focus on, especially accountability.
Any other comments? All right. Oh, no, Heather.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it because I did hear you say taking it seriously was important. I really hope that you did. There were many resignations from many people with decades of experience on various boards, school boards, local boards, nonprofit boards, professional boards, like a lot of people, professional people who dedicated their time resigned. So I think that if there is a theme that you all know, maybe more than we do, about the results of this, I think, I hope that impacts how your leadership is formed and how you all model behavior in the future.
Well, as Martha said, that made us have to really look at ourselves. And and I've said it a couple times, but that's the biggest thing is holding each other accountable. When we feel like one of us is getting out of line or just having to check us, just communicate. We can have difference of opinions, but we still got to communicate, and it's okay to disagree.
Any further comments? Seeing none, we will move on. We move 10A up, which was Village Wastewater Committee, review proposed wastewater ordinance.
I'll start. Hey, headline Village Wastewater Committee. A couple of items that were reported to the select board end of last week, one of which I think was 73 pages in length, so hopefully you guys got to it over the weekend, probably not. It is the most current version of the draft wastewater ordinance, which was initially presented to the select board in September of 2024. we anticipate that there's going to be minor changes to it as we continue to work towards obviously bidding of the project and construction. So we're recommending that it stay in draft form. I don't want to take all of Matt's material here. I would just hit on a couple of other items relevant to the wastewater committee. We cured the prior open meeting law violation at our last meeting, last select board meeting that I attended. I think Shane and I both spoke to that. We were in receipt of a subsequent open meeting law violation, which we will cure at tomorrow's meeting. There was no violation there. We had posted an agenda, but we had not actually met quorum that night, so the meeting was canceled. So we'll cure that tomorrow. And with that, Matt from the WRC has been a great advocate in helping move this project along. And hand it over to you. I think there's a lot to digest here. Matt did a really nice job pulling together a summary up front of things that were probably most important takeaways, and then the ordinance obviously is going to take some time to get through. So Matt, would you like to?
Yeah, thanks Gary. And can you all hear me there? Okay. If it's okay, I'm just going to stay seated. So yeah, as Gary mentioned, we sent a lot of materials on Friday for the select board to start taking a look at. The select board, we're not asking the select board to approve an ordinance tonight or make any approvals. This is a chance to update you on different components of the project. For the draft ordinance, we are at a point where it would be beneficial for the town attorney to review that ordinance. Again, it's going to stay in draft format until we get into construction, just because this is a complicated project and things may change between now and when the wastewater systems go into operation. And rather than having the select board adopt something now and then having to go back and amend that ordinance, just kind of getting it as far as we can at this point in draft form, so that residents and property owners that are considering connecting can see what's included in that ordinance and understand the town's responsibilities and the responsibility of the property owner in connecting to the system. But as mentioned in the memo, the ordinance, it is based on a template that was developed for Westford, Vermont, and it's been used by other communities in the state. So certainly the town attorney should review it, but it has been developed by other attorneys over time. There are a couple just points in the ordinance that we wanted to bring to the select board's attention. And some of these we discussed too back at the meeting in September. The first one is just regarding the sewer commission. So once the system is up and running, there does need to be a body that oversees and manages the system. The town will have a superintendent that will handle operations and maintenance, but there is a commission that oversees things such as setting the fee and hiring a superintendent. And under Vermont statute, the select board becomes the sewer commission unless you choose to appoint a separate body to serve as the commission. So right now the ordinance is set up to allow you to do either to serve as the commission or to appoint another commission. It's very common in Vermont. Most towns that I'm aware of, the select board serves as the commission. It's similar to how the select board is also the board of liquor control, and that's something you can handle kind of at the beginning before you get into your select board agenda at the beginning of your meeting. So it's not a big time commitment for the select board. You don't need to make a decision right now, but my recommendation is just for the select board to serve as the sewer commission too. I think that makes the most sense for the town. That's one thing we wanted to highlight. Another area in the ordinance, and I remember talking to the select board about this in September, is the question of reserve capacity and the town being able to set aside some of the wastewater capacity for any number of projects the town might want to try to support. Currently, for the North Village and the South Village, as you know, we are oversubscribed, so there's more interest out there than we have capacity. For the South Village, Dufresne Group, the engineering consultant, is developing plans for a phase 2 that would increase capacity in the South Village. And the state has indicated that there is additional funding for the treatment, the pre-treatment for phase 2, which would increase your capacity in the South Village. Additional funding is still needed to fully build out phase 2. So that additional funding is just for pre-treatment. So right now it wouldn't cover additional piping needed to provide that service to other properties. So with that additional funding for pre-treatment, the state, and I say at this point, has indicated, because we don't have anything official from the state, but they've indicated that a certain portion of that additional capacity for phase 2 would need to be set aside for housing, and some of that too for affordable housing specifically. Again, we don't have numbers yet, but I just wanted to highlight, the ordinance includes a provision about setting aside the reserve capacity, and that's something that may be included in the ordinance as we go forward.
Matt, can I ask you a quick question about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
In the reserve capacity, you're talking about the first indications that people have given you about their interest in hooking up. Will there be a point where there may be fall off when people are actually asked to subscribe? And did that then allow us to have potentially reserve capacity?
Yeah.
Does it sort of happen in that, can it happen in that sequence?
Yeah, thank you, Martha, for bringing that up. And it's another reason why we wanted to come to the select board now is we're at a point in the project where Dufresne Group is finishing up the 90% design plans, and then is going to be going through permitting with the state. And the goal is to have the final design plans done this summer, so we can bid the project by late summer. Before we can submit the final design plans, we need to know definitively who's going to be connecting to the system for state permitting reasons. So along with the memo and the draft ordinance, we also provided information on a fee schedule and budget for the system, and also a draft application for connecting to the system. So the idea would be to send property owners that have expressed an interest the draft application for connecting to the system, the draft ordinance, the anticipated fee schedule, so that property owners can commit to connecting to the system, so that we can then, we need to know that in order to bid the project and actually construct it, to know who's connecting. So to Martha's point, we know at this point that there's more interest than what we have capacity for, but when it comes time to actually submitting an application, part of that is the town is going to need easements from property owners so that the town can go in and maintain the tanks and other components of the systems that are on private property. So the town will need to have an easement from property owners too. So once it comes time to make those commitments, there may be property owners that decide not to move forward, and that might free up more capacity for the town. We don't know at this point. But that's why we're trying to bundle this all together so we can send out materials to property owners so that they have a copy of the ordinance too, so they know what's in there. And then just some other components of the ordinance, which we just highlighted as these are just things for the select board to be aware of. There are also things that the town attorney might flag, might be able to help out with, is just making sure that we're describing the ownership of the system correctly. The town is going to own a portion of the system, and then the property owner is responsible for the piping coming from the house to the collection tank. So we want to make sure that's all very clear in the ordinance and just in communication with property owners. There's also, the town has the ability to allocate capacity on a first come, first served basis, but there is the opportunity for the select board to, there may be a reason why you want to allocate capacity to another property owner, even if they didn't submit an application first, depending on any number of issues that might come up. So that's in the ordinance, but that's just something to be aware of, that gives the town flexibility, but could result in disputes too. So, but these are, again, things that would be worked out with the attorney to make sure that everything in there is clear and correct. We also provided a draft budget from RCAP Solutions, who the committee has been working with. There's a lot of information in there, so I won't go into detail. They have provided on the right-hand column notes about how they developed the budget, but we wanted to have RCAP develop a budget so the town could set a fee schedule based on what we're anticipating, what it will cost to run the system. So on the third page of the memo, I just pulled out the kind of different options, 3 options for setting fees for system users. And these are based on the percent of the grand list that the town uses to support the debt service. So under the first scenario, that would be 0% of the grand list used to support debt service, and then the second one is 50%, and the third option is 100%. And you can see the monthly user fee to the right of that. So if there's 0% debt service, it would be a higher monthly fee for users, and then it goes down if more of that debt service is covered by the grant list versus users of the system. And then to the right of that is showing the impact on the grant list and also an approximate cost for a typical $250,000 property per year. So under that first scenario, a user would would have a monthly fee of approximately $116, but there'd be zero cost for or towards the grant list. With 50% debt service, it's about a $95 fee per month, and that equals $8 per year for a $250,000 property. And then for 100% debt service, that's about a $75 monthly fee, and it would be $16 per year for a $250,000 property. So I do need to check the time, because as I mentioned to the select board, I need to run to another meeting in a couple meetings, so I'm a couple minutes. So I do think it would be helpful for the select board to make a decision about these different options for the fees, because we're going to need to communicate with property owners what we anticipate the fees to be. These numbers are going to change a little bit just based on construction costs, but I think this gives people a pretty good sense of what that cost would be. So are there any questions?
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
When, you said keep this as a draft, but when do you finalize it?
Yeah, so it's, I guess, a question I would want to run by the town attorney too, if there's a time it has to be finalized by. I mean, certainly before the system is in operation.
I'm just thinking that not having a full ordinance approved,
Yeah.
and you signing on to this already,
Right.
there's a lot of unknown there,
Yeah.
because it could be changed.
Yeah, and so it's, and I could certainly be wrong, and the town attorney might say you have to have it adopted before asking people to commit. Yeah, I think, yeah, my concern was just about if you need to make changes to it. Yeah, but, yeah.
With any ordinance, I think it's always important to remember they can be changed. It's not you don't want to work on the document extensively after it's complete, obviously, through that process, but
Yeah.
we could make necessary changes. You know, I think it's like a minimum of 60 days or something that it has to. So it's not a way to really doctor it up, but in the event there's a mistake or an omission or something, it can be adjusted.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I think the ordinance, you know, I'm saying it's in draft format, but I think it's 95% complete. I mean, it's very far along. So if we do need to adopt it sooner, there's not a lot of additional work to have it ready to be adopted. So it's not as if it's only 50% of the way there. So we could certainly kind of expedite it and move it forward to be adopted.
Matt had provided basically a red line version of the draft ordinance that we started with, and then we incorporated feedback from Shane, from Chrissy, from Arcraft, from WRC, and most of it was nuanced language to revise things. The draft ordinance that we started with was primarily driven towards like a gravity-based collection system, and there was little tweaks to the language that needed to be made to reflect the style system that we're moving forward, that we're advancing. So I think 95% is probably pretty accurate.
Is it typical for you to present it to us today, we accept it, but then we take another period of time to have conversation about some of these important topics in here and have more chance to have question and answers with you guys?
Yeah, we have
I
to
think-
approve the ordinance. We can
Yeah.
accept it
Right,
as is
right.
to send it
I think
to
this
town
is
attorney, but
an acknowledgement of receipt of the draft.
Yeah.
So we're saying, we got it, we can authorize the town attorney to look at it and keep it moving forward. So if we do have to adopt it, it's been worked on and it's not just waiting for that timeframe, so.
Yeah, I think realistically, we're hoping for, a month, to allow for attorney review. And we all know how quickly a month goes by now. So if we kind of start the process now, we're probably looking at, May, before you guys might feel comfortable saying, okay, we've reviewed it, the town attorney reviewed it. At the same time, on that parallel track, we would really like to start providing more information to the potential subscribers to the system, so that we can, obviously engage with them and start gauging that interest again.
But you won't do that until we've done whatever we need to do in May, is that right?
I think that's the direction that should be taken, the path that we should follow. I don't think that the committee would be comfortable advancing things without some tacit approval from the select board.
Some of the most important first homework is setting the fees, the fee structure.
That's
what it
correct.
sounds like, so.
Yeah, and
Combining that with combining that with the attorney's comments and having something in a month that's like okay, here's the next draft or whatever. So.
And one thing we'll ask Dufresne Group to do too is they've been preparing plans for each property that's expressed an interest in connecting, so that after the select board has given us the go-ahead to send the materials out, we'll ask Dufresne Group to pre-fill the draft application we shared with you so that all that technical information is filled out and the plan is provided to the property owner so that the property owner isn't needing to fill out that information themselves. They can just review it and sign it if they're comfortable with it. So we're going to try to do as much of that work before it goes to a property owner too, so that, yeah, it's easier for them to complete the steps.
And that plan would also show the easements that are required under the ordinance. So it would be very clear to the property owner, okay, it's an easement coming through this portion of the property, extending this close. So hopefully at that point, everything is clearly communicated to the property owners.
I apologize for having to run out, so thank you for moving us ahead in the agenda. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm just looking for, I think Matt pretty much covered it all. He's got his road before there are any questions that I might be able to answer.
Covers it for now. Anyone care to make the motion?
Sure. I move to acknowledge receipt of a draft of proposed wastewater ordinance and authorize its submittal to the town attorney for review.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to item 5, organization. 5A, elect select board chair and vice chair. I am happy to keep on as chair if you would have me.
Are people allowed to self-nominate?
I suppose. I don't think it's,
Alternate
In
secretary.
Vermont, if you
I don't think it's very ethical, but
Yeah.
in Vermont, you can. I looked it up just to see.
Well, I would,
are there any nominations?
are there other nominations?
I said, are there any nominations?
I would nominate Tom Kavanaugh as select board chair.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And vice chair. I would nominate James Allen Jr. Is there a second? Is there any other nominations?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5B, set regular meeting schedule and location.
Pretty basic.
Yep. Same as every year, basically, except for this one. Just includes this place for a little bit.
I move to hold regular meetings of the select board on the first and third Mondays of the month at 6 p.m. at the Town Hall, 139 Middletown Road in South Londonderry, until such time as the town office building renovations are completed, when such meetings shall again be held at the town office at 100 Old School Street in South Londonderry, or at the discretion of the select board chair and as permitted by applicable law. Meetings may be held without a physical presence using publicly available remote meeting software.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Designate newspaper of record. Vermont Journal is currently the newspaper of record. And I think it's about the only one.
I move to designate the Vermont Journal as the town's newspaper of record.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Designate location of posting of notices.
I move to designate the Londonderry Town Office, the Twitchell Building, the Londonderry Post Office, and the South Londonderry Post Office as the physical locations for posting agendas of the meetings of public bodies and other required public notices.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. 5E, designate member with authority to sign warrants and pay orders. That has been me for this year. And I'm happy to keep doing it.
I would move to appoint Tom Kavanaugh as a designated select board member with authority to sign warrants and pay orders pursuant to 24 VSA section 1623A1.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And 5F, adopt rules of procedure.
I move to adopt and execute the select board rules of procedure as amended.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. James, we all go sign that one. Moving on to item 6, minutes approval, meeting of 3/3/2025.
Sorry. I move to approve the minutes of select board meetings on March 3rd, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, moving on to item 7, select board pay orders.
I move to approve the pay orders for payroll and accounts payable.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Item 8, announcements and correspondence.
Good, don't forget to register your dog, if you have one, or two.
What's that?
Don't forget to register your dog by April 1st.
Coming right up.
Yes, it is, coming right up.
Item 9, visitors and concerned citizens. Anybody? No? All right, we'll move to item 10, town official business. We already did 10A. 10B is town treasurer year-to-date budget review.
This is till the end of January. I do have February done, but as you can see, we're doing quite well, but that's because we got all that money back from FEMA. And we should be getting the bond money very soon, and we also applied to get 30% of the MERP grant up front. We have to prove that we've spent it, which we have. So hopefully, all will go well with that in the next week or so.
Sounds good. Any questions for Tina? No? All right, item C, town clerk, approval of town meeting minutes of March 4th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes of the annual town meetings on March 4th, 2025.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Moving on to 10D, appoint road commissioner. Currently Taylor Crowder. You are willing to do it again?
I will.
Good man. All right.
I move to appoint Taylor Proudy as the town's road commissioner.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, I guess.
Feels like the one thing I can help with, so.
Yeah.
Good job.
10E, appoint emergency management director. That is Rich Phelan, and he is interested in continuing.
I move to appoint Rich. Oh, you go ahead.
I move to appoint Richard Phelan as the town emergency management director.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Rich.
10F, appoint Wyndham Regional Commission representatives. Let's see those in there.
Isn't that George?
George is the
George.
only one we have currently.
Yeah, George.
Any other perspectives?
Something I've heard of.
No.
I move to appoint George Mora as the town's representative to the Wyndham Regional Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10G, appoint tree warden. Does he still want to do it?
He hasn't said no, I don't think, but he hasn't said yes. to it.
If he hasn't said no, I move to
I
appoint
think-
Kevin Beatty as the town's tree
I think
warden.
Shane reached out to everybody and asked them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Kev.
Whether he wanted it or not.
10H, appoint 911 coordinator. That is Will right now.
Yes,
Yes,
it is
and he
well.
wants to continue.
And he will still continue.
I move to appoint Will Goodwin as the town's E911 coordinator.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10I, appoint animal control officer. Currently,
Pat
having
Salo.
space in that, Pat Salo. Knew it was Salo.
I move to appoint Pat Salo as the town's animal control officer.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And 10J, appoint first constable, and if needed, a second constable.
I almost feel like we should use the alternative and have the sheriff's office do it, but did we decide that last time? Did we?
Is there a cost?
What it was.
There was a cost, yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
I
it
don't know what
said,
the cost was.
I thought it said, it would handle it under the existing contract. I guess
Yeah,
it doesn't
I
say
think
the
it is.
existing
Oh,
I
is
think
it?
they
Yeah,
Was
it
would.
was under the
Yeah.
existing contract.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think it was only in name only. You guys appointed them last year.
yeah,
contract.
yeah, fine.
I'll be fine with that.
I'm fine
I
with
can't
that.
remember.
And it would replace
that.
both first and second constable,
Yes.
right?
Right. It seemed like there was very little for them to ever do.
Yeah,
And
they have no power over
There's
anything.
no, yeah.
I mean, did
It's in the contract, right? So-
Kevin accompany Rich on something maybe, just on like a site visit maybe? or
I think they
something?
did, but then I think at one point Kevin went somewhere and had to get the police to go with him, so,
There's really,
Yeah, if
it's redundant almost.
Yeah.
it's under their contract already paying for it,
yeah.
why not? I don't see a problem.
So don't appoint.
Kind of makes sense, and I think that we considered this transition before, and we kind of weren't really sure, but
Yeah.
I don't know that it makes sense anymore. Kevin, although he's not busy at it, might be relieved anyway to just the tree warden.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with Wyndham County.
Me too.
Makes
Do you
sense
have to appoint
them.
them, or do you just tell them?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks for including it for free.
Yeah.
Send him a card.
It's a good question. I don't know.
Thank you for your service.
I don't know, he didn't,
Yes, you appoint him. I don't know. Why
yeah,
not?
you could just make
Yeah.
it for the record.
Yeah, appoint him for the record.
I move to appoint the Wyndham County Sheriff's Office as the town's first constable.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, item 11, transfer station, solid waste management. 11A, updates. Only update I have is machine, the credit card company, the card reader was down for a little while on Saturday. Apparently they got it fixed.
We still sold about, I figured, what did I say,
20?
about 20 people
Nothing
bought.
we had control over. By the time I
Yeah.
got there, it was working again.
Yeah,
There could be issues with it from time to time, but we can't control everything with it.
yeah,
And the other one is Nick had at least one full day working for Steve, and from what I heard, everything went well.
Nice.
That's going good.
That seems like good experience for him to get under his belt, having a full day without, without supervision kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
If he's in the position, that's the most like what it's gonna be, so,
Yep.
yeah.
great.
Item 12, roads and bridges, 12A's updates.
We're staring down the barrel of mud season, but so far it's kind of holding together. We'll see. Use caution.
We didn't have 4 mud seasons like last year.
Yeah.
So far.
Yes.
Don't say too
No.
much yet.
But they started earlier.
We still got time.
Yeah.
We got a lot of time.
I would say, use caution if you have to use our dirt roads, and if you don't, please stay off them.
Always a possibility of them being rough.
Yes, absolutely. That's about it for me, I
Thanks
guess.
to the road crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they've had a couple of quiet weeks here.
Yeah, I think
Finally.
they're probably enjoying the forecast.
Yes.
Temporary.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I've heard talk about different people. All right. 12B, consider applications for excess vehicle weight permits.
I move to approve the excess weight permits for RK Miles Incorporated, Gurney Brothers Construction Incorporated, and David Shaves Excavating Incorporated, and authorize the town administrator. Do we have somebody in the interim, or
Shane will probably be
Probably
in.
be able to do
Yeah,
that?
part of his
Okay.
Yeah.
hours, yeah.
To execute the permits on behalf of the town?
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
If not, I can do it.
Okay, I could change that word and make
Yeah.
it real simple if we wanted to.
And 12C, access permit, Middletown Road.
So this, it's kind of retroactive. It's for a previously used access, but it's being modified. And it's it's across the road from the corner store. So it's a very small parking area that leaves Middletown Road,
The new one or the lower one?
the new one.
Yeah.
Means are up.
Yeah, yeah. So there previously was a road access permit associated with the home that was there. So the modification is opening it up a little bit more and using it for the store instead.
Yep.
And Josh looked at it and signed it, and there's no changes really to what was done. The work has been done. This is just the paperwork going along with it.
Sounds good. You okay to make that motion? You might have to
I will.
add some stuff into it.
Yeah, and I don't have it right in front of me because of the way we went through this process, but I would move to approve the access permit application number 2025-01 submitted by the corner store for modification of an existing access to their parcel located on the south side of Middletown Road and, north side
Yeah, it'd be the
of
north.
Middletown Road, and authorize the chair.
I can sign it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, I was saying the store is on the south side, but
The access is on the north side.
the access is to the parking area is on the north side, yeah, of Middletown Road. And authorize the chair to sign the permit on behalf of the board.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Item 13, old business. 13A, follow-up discussion on 2025 town meeting. It's quick,
Yeah,
wasn't too painful.
people like the bracelets, I think.
Yeah, bracelets were
It
cool.
was smooth check-in. We have plenty of them, if anybody needs one.
You didn't take it off?
No, I like bracelets. Never taught her one wear just one day.
You're dedicated. Any other follow-ups?
I think the biggest conversation at the end helped maybe get enough information about the topics that, were up for discussion, and it felt like everybody, everybody has their opinion, but it was discussed enough to come to conclusion. And everything else was pretty breezy, seemed like.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was a smooth one this year. Alright. 13B, Town Office Renovation Project, consider proposal for storage filer.
So this is the company that put in our roller shelves in the vault and the cabinet that we had out along by the door. And they're meant to be for box storage, so we can stack file boxes that are long-term, that we don't need to get into.
For the
So-
basement?
Yes. for the
Yeah, in the
basements.
basement.
Yep.
And there's a potential for adding, we could add more to it if we need to, if
So the
there's room,
picture has
but,
3, but we're only gonna do the 2 large, not the front, smaller one. To start, I think that will
Do they
suffice.
roll like the
I'm
ones in the vault?
not sure if they
or-
do or not.
These 2 I don't, I think this one slides this way.
Yeah. If we got the third one.
If we got this, it would slide this
Yeah.
way, so you could access.
Right, okay.
The cubbies, so your boxes will fit in?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
they're
not a lip, but they're made for file boxes.
they're made for file boxes.
Yeah.
They're the right depth.
And height, so 3 foot across per.
It's what we have in the vault now.
They're
Sort of,
similar.
the ones in the vault aren't this
Is-
wide.
Okay.
Because there's a split down the middle.
Yeah.
So there's not room to put boxes in there unless you turn them around the other way, so. And this is stuff that, we'll put down there that eventually needs to get shredded.
Or the
But we need to hold on to it for
Yeah.
7 years or whatever.
Yeah, there'll be a.
There's be a rotation, yeah.
And that capacity is enough for,
Yes, I believe so,
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, and we can't go back to the old way of just having them on the floor.
Yeah, no.
Nope.
Now that we got nice down there, we gotta make
Yeah.
real storage.
Keep it nice.
well, and it's a significant price tag, but I think in order to construct something that would support boxes like that,
Yeah.
and that are gonna be moved on occasion and stuff, I think it
Yeah.
makes sense to have something that is built for that, and as opposed to like wooden shelves that would be stressed over time or.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So having a,
Yeah, that would be penny wise.
yeah, yeah.
What?
I move to accept the proposal for file storage and shelving from DuPont Storage Systems in the amount of $13,750 and authorize both the town clerk and town treasurer to sign any documents necessary for the procurement and installation of the units.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good. Now it is Town Office Renovation Project, consider change order, and hopefully we're getting to the bottom barrel of these change orders.
Yeah,
We've said that throughout the whole process.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
and everything keeps coming up again.
Well-
So, one thing that wasn't, I don't know if it was just done to save cost or something, but they were gonna use a lot of the old plumbing.
and
And
the pressure tank, yeah.
GPI saw them starting to hook up the old pressure tank and stuff, and it's like, I don't know if that's such a good idea.
I would agree with that
Yeah,
sentiment.
it's been there at least 12 or 13
Yeah.
years, probably longer.
So they're recommending new pressure tank, fixtures, 5 circular pumps, air separator, expansion tank, and 5-zone relay.
Smart thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you're upgrading everything,
Might as
you're
well.
upgrading the whole building.
Yeah,
Might as well not
you-
put in
yeah.
no,
Well, 12-year-old.
Plumbing.
Yeah.
Yes, 12-year-old tank. Yeah, that's not much life left.
no.
Yeah,
Trust me, I just replaced my.
I'm
living
surprised
room.
it's not rotten in the bottom.
Just replace one more.
All right. Well, I move to authorize a change order for the town office renovation project that replaces plumbing fixtures originally scheduled to remain in place at a cost of $5,175, and to authorize the assistant town administrator to execute any documents necessary to implement these change orders.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 13D, Town Office Renovation Project, designate official for bond decisions and disbursements. Sounds like something for you, Tina.
Yeah,
That's definitely.
Doesn't sound like something for
yeah.
me.
I mean, Shane and I probably would do it in conjunction, but we're gonna ask for the whole thing because we've nearly spent the whole thing, so.
And
he'll be on as project coordinator
Yes.
until the project
Yep.
is complete, so it wouldn't be
Yeah.
a stretch
No.
to include him
No.
either, right?
He's coming to the meeting on Thursday to meet about the building and everything.
Yeah, I think he said he was gonna make Thursdays his day so he could stay on track with
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
project.
because we usually always have a construction meeting that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is this
makes
one
sense.
of these, though, signature authorizations where you want it to be arm's length, separate from somebody who's controlling the books in the building? I mean, is this what the bond bank recommends we do? Is it typically the town treasurer? I'm not trying to create a problem.
I have no idea, actually.
Yeah. I mean,
But, I mean,
I mean,
it's
the
just
select board should
authorizing me
sign off.
to
Yeah.
receive the funds, essentially, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll sign off as long as Tina tells me
Yeah.
it's good to sign.
I mean, yeah, with Tom's approval, and I would have Shane's input, but we're essentially taking one lump sum.
One lump sum.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be an ongoing thing.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Okay, I move with regard to the town office renovation project bond to, number one, appoint the town treasurer as an authorized signer and authorize the town treasurer to act on behalf of the town in matters relating to all current and future outstanding Vermont Bond Bank loans held by US Bank. And number two, authorize the select board chair to sign any required appointment or authorization documents on behalf of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to item 14, new business. 14A, annual appointment to planning commission, and Pam Spalding is currently the appointed and wants to be run again.
Well, this is an easy one. I move to appoint Pamela Spalding to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term ending 3/31/2028.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you for your work.
And 14B, annual appointments beautification committee. The incumbents are Martha Dale and Gail Kohlberg. All right. And they would both like to be appointed again.
I move to appoint Martha Dale and Gail Kohlberg to the Beautification Committee, each for a 3-year term ending 3/31/2028.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And who wants the last one?
Move to adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.